Hey, everybody. There's Brandon.
I'm
Here's
here.
Stuart. And this is
Yeah.
Trash Talk
Yeah.
Tuesday morning. First of all, I want to say again, we both appreciate very much you joining us every week. Whether you join us live at 8 o'clock on Tuesday mornings and all when we launch the shows, or you pick it up, off of one of the platforms at a later date. We sure enjoy the comments that you're sending and appreciate you watching the show because it makes us feel good.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. It's fun to hear. By all means, keep dropping comments. Keep emailing. Trash talk at what is it? Trash Talk Texas. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. You'll find us, send us an email or just go to one of our Facebook pages and say, hey, by the way, I think you guys ought to talk about this and this on Trash Talk, because
Yeah,
sometimes our
absolutely.
brains get fried and we don't know what the hell we're going to talk about.
No, and you got to come up with it every week. So coming up with ideas. People don't realize like we got a lot, but sometimes you get an idea and then you get it down and you're ready to do it, and you're like, I don't know if that's a good idea. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
scratch it.
And every once in a while, we just don't have an idea. So we just turn the
True.
microphones on and just let
That's
it,
true.
let it. And those sometimes turn out to be the best shows.
Also true. Also true.
when they're not structured. But we were talking about documentaries, and and I mean that can encompass a lot of things. I think COVID turned us all into documentary watchers and binge watchers. I remember at the beginning when Netflix started showing some of these series, I thought, this thing is running like 3 seasons. Nah, that's too long. Now I'm into one now I'm only into the second season of a 6 season run.
What is it?
How to get away with murder.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, good. It's a good man. I'm telling you, and you think you got it figured out. Next episode, you're way off base. And I mean there's been some great series out there, and it's all over the board. I mean, from Ozark, which I'm waiting for
Oh,
the next installment of that, which I think is going to be the end
it
of
is the end.
Ozark.
It's the final one. Yeah.
That was another one. Was every time you started to get into a character, they got blown away.
I love Ozark, man. Oh my gosh, yeah. That's a great show. And I'm glad that we didn't have to wait when it got delayed like a lot of things because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then at least we didn't have to wait. I know they split it in two, and I hate when they do that, but at least they were like, hey, it's only next month. Like you're okay. Like it's not that long. But I think because of that, because of the delays that COVID had on the industry, we got a lot of documentaries. They were like, hey, you know what? We've got some really cool docs or docs that are on the way out. Let's just push them out. And Netflix and even Disney Plus and
Right.
Amazon Prime, they released some really unique documentaries. I watched a documentary on Amazon Prime, and I don't watch a lot of stuff on Amazon Prime, but it was really good. It was called Veil, and it was about Val Kilmer, and
Oh,
it's about everything that he's gone through, where he's at within his life, his road to recovery. And I got to be honest with you, there's a lot of stuff about him that I didn't know. I mean, I know him
yeah.
as an actor and all that.
Yeah, if there's something that happens to somebody and it's kind of the press likes to jump on it, and that's all you know. But then sometimes when you see a documentary, you see the road to where they got to that point, and why.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And they look at 40 years into Val Kilmer's life,
Yeah,
and he had a really interesting life. He's a very interesting guy, but it's what happened to him. And it's kind of amazing to see because you get this never before seen footage into their daily life. And it's literally like his daily life and his recovery and what he's dealing with. And yeah, it was a great documentary, but I would have never saw it. I wouldn't have paid attention to it if there was other stuff on or if COVID happened. You know what I mean? And I really enjoyed it. That's a great documentary.
they did a documentary about Michael J. Fox that way, because his dealings with Alzheimer's, not
Oh
Alzheimer's,
yeah.
with Parkinson's.
Parkinson's disease.
And when it started and how he dealt with it, and now he's become an advocate for Parkinson's. And
I would watch that. I would watch that. I mean, I read his book and I thought it was great. Great book. So I would definitely watch that one. This is pretty amazing too, because, he's cancer free now. Val Kilmer is, but it took a huge toll on him. And it's interesting to see that. So a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people are like, they saw Val Kilmer and they're like, what happened to him? And I'm like, dude, he had cancer, man. Like,
what's nice is when you go like to Netflix or to Prime, you can search, for documentaries, just like if you're looking for a movie, it'll subcategorize it. If you're looking for a mystery or you're looking for a comedy, but I think they do have a choice where you can just go into documentaries. I've seen some, honestly, I didn't think I was going to enjoy this, but there was a documentary about octopi, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
That was, I watched the first episode. I couldn't stop.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And it's great stuff for kids too, because they learn about the life of penguins, different animals growing up, but Richard Attenborough started that many, many years ago, doing documentaries about the animals in the wild and all. And some of them are great.
I could watch anything with like animal stuff. Luke and I watch one on Disney Plus, and it's penguins. And it's a fun documentary because it's got some funny stuff in there. The guy who's narrating it, it's also got some things in there that I had no idea about. And it's all about their migration, them popping out eggs and then them getting back into the ocean. But it doesn't shy away from the fact that, other predators are aware of where they're going. So like killer whales, the leopard.
And it's cyclical. It happens every year.
It's insane to me. We watch that and he loves it because, again, you're learning something and you get to see this footage of stuff that you and I will never, ever be able to see,
Yeah.
That's a great documentary. Disney Plus, actually, they've been really dabbling into a lot more stuff. They came out with a documentary back in February, the Beatles, called Get Back. And it's a 4-piece documentary. It takes place over like 21 days. Peter Jackson did it, and it's recording Let It Be. It's the whole thing. But what's interesting about it is the studio, you're in the studio with them. This stuff has never been released. You actually see when Harrison leaves the Beatles for a minute. Like, they have a falling out right there in the studio, and nobody's ever seen that stuff before. I really enjoyed that. And what I liked about it was, I think I liked Ringo the best during those sessions. Ringo catches a lot of flack, but watching that documentary, you get a new perspective for Ringo and what he did. It's really, really great documentary.
And how they interacted. No, you talk about music. Another great documentary I urge people to watch is called The Funk Brothers. The Funk Brothers was the studio backup band for Motown.
I'm gone.
They were the ones that did most of the musical backup for the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Supremes, because these were all musical singing groups, but they had backup groups, and it would not only was it the story of them together, but individually how they came up through the ranks and played. They played on just literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of solid gold records, but
I would watch that.
They were never really known on their own.
See that stuff. Well, first off, I love Motown music anyway, but I would love to see that. It's called the Funk Brothers.
The Funk Brothers.
Writing that down, actually. What do you know what it's on or what streaming service?
I don't remember. Find one of them and
I'll find it.
And it'll be out there. So hey, if you were going to do a documentary, what kind of a documentary would you do? I got one in mind for you.
Oh God. insomnia. No.
That could be
Let's
one. I, but that would put people to sleep.
Yeah, well, I've got two in mind right now, and one of them might not be that exciting. I would do two. Here's one of them. I would do a documentary about local coffee shops. Now, and I'm not talking your local Starbucks. That doesn't count. They don't count. I'm
Right.
talking
Mama,
let's
Papa.
go to mom and papa. Yeah, let's go to these towns, even here where we live. Let's go to other towns and find the local coffee shop. And I'm not just, I want to know their story. I want to know how they got into it. I want to know what separates their coffee, what their signature drink is, what their vibe is. I want to do that across the country. I think that would be cool. And I think I would do another one on local music, but just in the DFW area. Again, behind the scenes, recording sessions, local guys that are making it, playing at the corner of a bar, or maybe those guys that are playing the mid-level, but I want to know their story. We hear about all these guys like I said, with the Beatles and all that, but what about the guys that are out here? There's some great music in the DFW that people outside of Dallas are never going to hear. And I think that would be cool.
I would take that a step further and I would love to see a documentary about these old folk artists, country artists, blues artists, and everything that are like in their 70s and 80s. They never had a hit record. Maybe they had an album or two, but they've just been playing the honky tonks and the little bars all across the country, but it's been their love of their life. And they've just been playing and playing since they were teenagers.
I think there's something there. I really do. I think there's something amazing and the stories, like just not just the stories about them, but what they've seen. I think it would be awesome. Those are my two. Right?
Like they never ever wanted to tour. If they could get a session gig and everything to just play backup to somebody, that was fine with them. That would be cool. I also would be interested in maybe doing some documentaries on some sports legends. Most recently there was a movie about the life of Kurt Warner, who's the quarterback for the Rams. It was a great story of how he was raised on a very poor farm and started by throwing a football through a tire, on a rope from a tree, but some of those stories where you get a guy who is a superstar, they all have that backstory that would really be cool to go into a documentary. Some were golden kids, they were raised in affluent families, especially like in golf and in tennis. Their parents had the means to get them where they were, but others, like track stars, that's what you find like in marathon running. Some of your best marathon runners are from Kenya and Ethiopia and third world countries.
They came from nothing.
Because they had to get up in the morning and they had to run 20 miles to get to school.
They had to run away from lions.
Well, that's true too.
Tigers.
Yeah.
No, that would be cool. I'll take that one step further. When you talk about, sports legends, I want to go to the unsung hero sports legends. I want to go to the guys that were in a small town, they played basketball and they took that town to the national championship, or these guys that maybe were in archery and this is their story and they became an Olympic, those guys that maybe you and I have never even heard of. But when you Google, Olympic athletes in archery, whatever the heck that's called, you find this dude, Bob, from some 1.5 horse town, and he won it. That would be cool.
Well, the movie Hoosiers was all about a small town basketball team that went to the state championship.
Well, that's what I mean. There's even high school. What about those high schools that maybe they didn't go beyond that, but what they did for the community and the town? Like I don't know. I think that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I got one for you.
What?
Scary places.
Yeah, I feel like it's inevitable, right?
Yeah, you could do that one. You do a series about trolls under bridges and spooky places.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm finally, I didn't get to do it, but I'm finally going in October to a place to do a live podcast from there. I'm probably going to bring somebody with me in case I get, turned into a lampshade. But yeah, so maybe that'll be the start of it. Go viral with it. But I'm going to have video and all that. I'm super excited about it. I'll probably get arrested, but that, other than that, it'll be okay.
But that makes for a good episode on the show.
Right. As long as somebody can bail me out, I'm good.
Yeah, right.
But Brandon can't afford to be arrested anymore.
Well, you get arrested, I'll bail you out.
There you go. At least I won't be doing anything, just trespassing. Who cares?
That's right.
It's nothing. Nobody's hurt. Those guys are already dead.
That's right.
Yeah. That would be a good one. And yeah, you might be onto something.
But no, it's fun to think about that kind of stuff. And I think that some of it was spawned by the things that we have been watching. And,
Yes.
We talk to a lot of our friends and they'll tell us about a movie or a series or a documentary or something to watch. And that's how you find them. And sometimes you just kind of click on the info about it and you say, that sounds kind of cool and different. I mean,
mine's a pull the trigger moment. Like you said, we have so many choices that we spend 30 minutes trying to figure out one of the things we want to watch. Sometimes I'll look at it and go, boom, I'm just watching it.
That's right. And if it's not that good, okay, fine. So, what'd you invest, an hour and a half or something in watching it?
You might have learned something. I did that with a popular one called The Tinder Swindler on Netflix. Tinder, the dating app. I was blown away more or less, yes, that this guy was a complete con artist. And I feel bad for the girls and I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. I was blown away at the ignorance of these girls that were sending this guy money, like just from his lies. Like, well, my company needs this and that my money's tied up right now. I've got people coming after me. And they would send him like $3,000. $4,000. I mean, these girls went into debt to send this guy money because and I'm like, you literally met him at a bar and now it was a really interesting documentary, but I just did it on the whim. I was like, all right, let me see what this is all about. And then I watched it and I was like, okay.
Did you watch Becoming Anna?
I did. What did you think of that? Because it's like a doc show. It's a show series.
It's based on real events. Of a woman who just created this high society person. She had no money at all, but she knew how to get other people to spend their money, and she lived a wonderful lifestyle. And the cool thing was the lead actress in that was also in Ozark.
I like her. Her character in Ozark is, when we were first introduced to her, I couldn't stand her.
Yeah.
And then you get to almost feel sorry for her. And I love her. I thought the story was cool in that. My only thing was I thought they dragged it out a little too long. That's it.
The only problem I had with it was because I watched her in Ozark, I had a hard time seeing her in the role as Anna because I kept kind of seeing the Ozark that her
you're seeing, what's her name, Ruthie or something like that in Ozark?
Yes. Yeah.
You see her. Yeah, I did the same thing. I was waiting for her to start dropping some F-bombs and shooting
and then her voice too. But but it was one of those. It was just one of those, And I was thinking back to when I was younger. Our parents, or especially our moms, used to follow the soap operas, and like every day, even when I got married, when Lauren was raising the kids, it was like every day. I think it was 11:30 or something. Whatever was going on, she had to be in front of the TV to watch General Hospital. Wow. The Guiding Light or whatever. And women were hooked on that. And that was the predecessor to all these documentaries and series that we're watching today.
Yeah, because back in the day, a doc series was usually like on 60 Minutes, or it was boring and it was school stuff, Nowadays, it's exciting. I encourage everybody, actually, especially with what's going on in the world right now, to watch Winter on Fire. It's on Netflix. and it's
Winter on
about,
Fire.
yeah, it's about the revolution in the Ukraine and how they became free from Russia and what they did. Really, probably Putin should have watched this before he invaded.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really amazing documentary because it shows how they got their freedom, how they put in the votes, what they did to fight the government that was put in that was basically just a Russian government. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's gut wrenching. It's an amazing documentary. It actually came out back in like 2015, but I just watched it like 6 months ago, 5 months ago. Amazing documentary. It's on Netflix. I'm going to tell you right now, I encourage everybody to watch that. You learn a lot.
We've also gotten hooked a little on some of the old documentary and series shows that go back to England and Ireland. And sometimes the dialogue is a little hard to follow because of the just the dialogue in those days.
Sure,
but the period kind of shows and everything are pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when you think back about 5 or 10 years, we would all want to sit down and watch a show or record a show to play back and all. And I can't tell you really the last time we've watched network television with any kind of regularity. It's just like I would rather invest that time watching a movie or a series or a documentary.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I mean, the networks are pretty much dead, they are.
Yeah. Just tune in for the local news.
Yeah. And even then, who cares? Put it, you can find your local news on like Twitter, like I follow a couple of the local news guys on Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I watch it occasionally, especially if there's a storm, but networks, they're kind of dead if it's not like a sporting event or you want to see Will Smith smack somebody. That's it, like it's just pointless,
And see it over and over and over and over again.
Literally, like that was the month. It was a month of Will Smith smacking somebody.
Right.
Meanwhile, we've got our country and what it is, and you've got the Ukraine, and I'm watching Will Smith smack Chris Rock.
Right.
I'm like, I can't do it. Personally, though, I think they should bring Will Smith back every year to the Oscars and let him smack somebody.
Yes. Yeah. And don't announce ahead of time who he's going to smack. No, just see who's Will Smith going to go after this year.
Just cue the music. Like get Will Smith instead of the wrap it up music when they're giving their stupid speeches. Just cue the music. Let Will Smith go up, smack somebody, and he leaves. Done.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe smack the young lady that's holding the Oscars.
Yeah, just smack her. She deserves it. Smack, when Sean Penn gets up there and pours his heart out about dying people in a country I never heard of, just smack him. Just shut up, Sean Penn. Just get out of here,
And especially the guy from the Academy that comes out to read the get up there.
Yeah,
smack him. Grab his briefcase and smack him.
They're wheeling out this artifact that nobody knows who he is. Just smack the dust off of him. Come on, Will.
Or when they announce the Lifetime Achievement Award, get up there and smack the guy off the stage.
Although this year wasn't the Lifetime Achievement Award Samuel L. Jackson, I wouldn't be smacking Samuel L. Jackson.
No.
He'll smack you right back.
Yeah. Or like Robert De Niro. Or Al Pacino.
Yeah, don't smack Pacino.
No. Wouldn't go there.
But when they do the award, they're like, and the award for music in a short film animated and designed in Venezuela, just smack them. Nobody cares. Nobody.
Here's your trophy. Get off the stage.
Get out. And then that'll be Will Smith's punishment. He's got to forever be there smacking somebody. Then he's got to go home.
Right. Like anger management. That's what he's got to do.
Just get out of here.
Well,
anyway.
Hey, listen, maybe someday, if we don't do it, somebody else will do a documentary about us.
It'd be 15 minutes long.
Yeah, it'd be a short documentary. Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, one time these guys were bored. They did a show called Trash Talk. Here it is. Bye.
Yeah. And half a dozen people watched it.
Right.
So, now smack them and get them off the stage. And we'll come back next week and do it again. Bye.
See you guys.